Hello everybody, it's Larry. In this video, I'm going to go over what you do when you upload and install and activate a WordPress plugin. What's your next step? How do you figure it out? Well, you go about figuring it out. And some are real simple and intuitive and work right out of the box. Others are highly complex and are pretty much studying themselves. It takes months to figure them out. And a good example of that would be the WooCommerce plugin, which we're going to upload later. Let's start. We'll try to find some patterns to help you figure out how things work. Now, I've uploaded a bunch of plugins for this week's assignment, and let's take a look at these. So I uploaded this contact form 7. Well, how do I operate it? Well, one of the first things I do before I read the documentation, which is probably not a good idea, I look to see if anything has been added to the sidebar that may have come from this plugin. And in this case, contact. That could be it. Excellent. So I guess I go in here and I start poking around in here trying to figure it out. Let's see. Okay. I see this short code. We'll talk about that in a second. If we go back to plugins. How about this Facebook widget? What does it do? I don't see anything in the sidebar. I don't know. Well, one thing I've learned is that some widgets simply add a new widget to your widget page in the dashboard. So let's go there and see. There we go. Facebook like widget, page like widget. Apparently that's all it does. Let's go back to our plugins. Take a look at a few more. Meta slider. Well, first of all, I look over here in this sidebar. Oh, there it is. So, okay. Let's see. Is this pretty intuitive? Okay. Looks like I can add slideshows here. Cool. I guess I could figure this out. Okay, let's take a look at a few more. Google Maps. Okay. Oh, there's some maps. Okay, cool. That one's pretty clear. Events calendar. I should see like a calendar or something somewhere. I don't know. I'll have to look. Oh, there it is. Events. Cool. Nice and clear. Simple share button adder. Well, let's see. Do I see anything in here? Here, no. Users. Sometimes, there we go. Share buttons. I can find some settings and maybe try to figure it out from here. So let's go back to that one. Also, I could have clicked on settings here. Well, basically there's like 3 places you're going to find some settings and some important information to start figuring out your new plugin. And most likely and hopefully they're in this sidebar, nice and big. Or another place to look, the second place to look is under here. Sometimes plugin developers add them to this settings menu. Really no reason why. I can't really explain why they do. Some do it differently than others. And sometimes the only thing you can find is a settings link on the all plugin page. So for me, just knowing that in any of these 3 places, here, or just in this as a tab in the sidebar, that's really helpful for me to start trying to figure out what a plugin does. However, I did mention we should probably read the documentation first. I'm always in a hurry and don't like to read documentation. Well, let's see. On this page, they all have view details. Let's pop this one up. Okay. Now, on here, this is a standard WordPress format for a details page for each plugin. And here you can read. This is all very helpful. Some of it you may or may not understand. You may be in a hurry like me. Installation tab. Usually this is really simple. They just tell you to simply upload. It's basically the same steps for every plugin. Upload to your theme, activate. Okay, sometimes they get a little bit more descriptive, and that's really helpful. They'll tell you actually how to use the plugin in here, not in this case. Another helpful tab for trying to figure this out, screenshots. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. This is what it's going to look like. Yeah, right, in my dashboard. Cool. This kind of helps me figure things out. This might not be, okay, it's just part of the process of figuring it out. Another link that you'll use quite often is the FAQ, and hopefully they will have a very basic question, some very basic questions about how to start working with this plugin. Okay, so we got a pretty good start on figuring out our plugin. Now there is something I want to point out that I never heard of until I started working in WordPress. It's the use of shortcode in order to actually use these plugins or get them to do something. Okay, so before I explain what shortcode is, let's take a look at an instance of shortcode. So I go into my contact form 7 page, and okay, here's a form named contact form 1. They bothered to put this shortcode in here. And if I zoom in a little bit here, you can see the shortcode. Shortcode comes in these square brackets. We'll take that format. So I'm going to copy that. Let's go to, zoom back out. And let's see how this might work. I'm going to just create a new page to demonstrate it. And I'll call it test short code. So what I'm expecting here, that this shortcode is fully responsible, if I paste it in, for creating a form that I have configured somewhere within this contact section here. So if I publish that, and then I view the page, okay, there's a form. And just to give you some idea what shortcode does, it's a way, well, since the text editor here can't handle PHP, if you were to type any PHP code in there, it would literally print the code out onto the page. But one way we can do it is to add, by using shortcode, there's a lot of PHP code that gets attached to it behind the scenes that the plugin developer has created. So let's take another look. Let's look at another page, the meta slider page. Basically, the plugins that we're working on, 3 or 4 of them that we're working on our assignments this week, work by way of shortcode. So I have a slideshow page, and you can see I'm creating this slideshow by use of some shortcode that was provided to me by this meta slider plugin. And if I were to look at this page, I should see a slideshow. Great. So it takes actually a lot of PHP to develop this. So using shortcode is really cool because you can actually put stuff on beneath it, some actual content, and it will show up above the slideshow or below it, whatever. I can't spell tonight, whatever. Wow. Okay, nonetheless, shortcode is one way to implement, actually a fairly common way to implement something that a plugin does. And we are going to use it in our assignment several times. Well, I hope this helps you in the future. I'm getting started with any plugin. However, no matter what, you're going to have to play around with each one. Like I say, some of them can take are a study unto themselves and take months to learn. Some that are real simple to figure out, but you got to just kind of play around with them.